Hi, this is Laura Staley, and I'm back with another video on Excel. Now, today we're going to talk about absolute and relative references in Excel because they really come in handy when you are copying and filling formulas. Now, if you do nothing, Excel automatically uses relative references. And what that means is if you copy or fill formulas, that Excel will shift the cell references for you. And if you watch my previous videos, you've seen me do this where I've had formulas at the bottom of a column and then I've filled them over or copied them over. And it has shifted the references for each column over that I copy those formulas to. Now, that is normally what you want Excel to do, and so it's not a problem until it is. There are times when you have a fixed cell that you don't want to shift, and that is where absolute values come in because you can make that reference an absolute value and it will not shift. So let's get into it and let me show you what I'm talking about. So I have this spreadsheet and I have different products. I have the quantity with the price, and then I want to calculate a total price in this case. So I'm going to type in equal, and I'm just going to multiply the quantity times the price. So I am going to say equal, click on the first cell, enter an asterisk for the time symbol, and then click on the second cell reference and hit enter. And there is my formula and with the results. Now I'm going to put my pointer over the right-hand corner of that cell, and when my pointer becomes a black crosshair, I'm going to click and drag down, and this is what it's called autofill functionality. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about filling formulas or copying them down. And when I do that, what it does is it copies the formula to all these cells underneath it, but it shifts the row reference down one each time. So this first one that I typed in was equal C4 times D4. And then the next one is equal C5 times D5. And the next one is equal C6 times D6. And so on and so forth all the way down. Now that's what I wanted to happen because I want the two cells in each row to be multiplied with each other. Okay, does that make sense? That is an example of using relative references in a formula. And like I said, Excel automatically uses relative references, so you don't have to do anything if this is the scenario that you want. Okay, now there are times when you want to use the same cell without it changing when you copy or fill formulas. So let me show you an example. I am going to figure out the sales tax of the total prices. So I want to multiply the total price times the sales tax, which I have over in this cell, which is I4. So I'm always going to want to multiply times the value found in I4. So if I enter my formula like I always have before, I'm going to say equal, click on the total price, multiply it times sign, and then click on the tax rate cell, and then I'm going to hit enter, and there is my result. So then I'm going to put my pointer over the lower right hand corner till it becomes a black crosshair, and then I'm going to click and drag down, and I have all zeros. And why do I have all zeros? Well, if I click on the next cell down from the formula that I entered, it says equal E5, which is this one, which is what I want, times I5, which is this one, which is a blank cell. So 0 times anything is 0. I actually wanted to stay on I4. So I need to make that an absolute reference. Now, I will put this comment in. There have been times when the way I figure out that I need an absolute reference is I've done something just like this. And then I go, oh, I need an absolute reference. I go back and fix my original formula. And then I fill it again and it's fine. There are other times when I have known it from the beginning. I've actually thought ahead and I've put in the absolute reference from the beginning. It doesn't matter which way you go, it all works if you get it right in the end. So let me go back and I'm going to fix it. So I am going to change the I-4 reference up in the formula bar. So I am going to click on it. I can do it either down here in the cell because I've double clicked on it, or up in the formula bar. In either case, I want a $ in front of the I and a $ in front of the 4. So I want a $ in front of the letter for the column and a $ in front of the number for the row. And that is what tells it to anchor it to this cell and this cell only. Now, there are two ways I can do this. I can type a $ in front of the I, and I can click and then type a $ in front of the 4, and then hit enter. And then when I fill it down, it works just fine. However, that's the hard way of doing it. So I'm going to undo, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to undo again. And so I still have the plain I-4. That's what I went back to. And in this case, I'm going to click on I-4, and I'm going to hold down the function key on my keyboard and then hit the F4 button. And that will automatically insert the $ in front of the I and a $ in front of the 4. So it's just an automated way that Excel gives me to make a reference an absolute reference. So again, I held the function key down on my keyboard and then hit the F4 function key. And this, as well as keyboard shortcuts, it's worth remembering because it's such a pain to get your cursor in the right place and type in a $, go over one space, type in another $. So either way you do it, I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to fill that all the way down. And then in each case, I've got the first cell reference, which shifts down, which is what I want, because I wanted to multiply each price on each line. And then the second reference is anchored to 6.5. And that's where it stays. And that's what I wanted. Okay, now let me show you another example. So I also may want to calculate the commission. And so in this case, I'm going to type an equal sign. Okay, this time I've thought ahead, so I know I want an absolute value. So I'm going to do it as I go. So I'm going to type in the equal sign, click on the total price, type in the asterisk for the multiplication symbol, and then I'm going to click on the commission cell. It picks up the cell reference, and then I'm going to hold down the function and then the F4 function key and hit enter, and there's my commission. And this time when I fill it down, it's going to be correct from the beginning. And so there are all of my values. In this case, I want to shrink the decimals and get them to 2, and I'm done. Okay, now in the corresponding blog post, I'm going to talk about what happens or what you need to do when you want to just shift either the column or the row, not both of them. That's what you will use a vast percentage of the time, but a small percentage of the time, you want to just anchor the column or just the row, and the blog post shows how to do that. So I will link that down below so that you can see that if you have an interest in knowing how to do that. Okay, I hope that you found this helpful and that you can see how you can type in a value in your spreadsheet that you want to use as an anchored point. There are just all types of things that you can do when you enter a value in a cell and then refer back to it. So I hope that you can see some ways you can use these principles in your spreadsheets. Good luck with absolute values, and I will see you with my next video.